Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. Thanks for joining me once again. Before I dive into today's first look, I do want to mention if you enjoy the Gaming Gang and would like to support the outlet, you can do so in a few ways. First, by utilizing our affiliate links to the One Bookshelf sites, such as DriveThruRPG, and to do so, simply visit thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banners. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. You can also make a one-time donation by way of PayPal or become a monthly member of our Patreon. You'll find links in the show notes. Also, down in those show notes, you will find an invite link to our Discord server. It's absolutely free to sign up and come hang with the gang over on Discord. Kobold Press Week continues, as today I will be taking a first look at Dungeons Deep, which is for Tales of the Valiant as well as Dungeons and Dragons. And of course, it is from the aforementioned Kobold Press. This 176-page hardcover is available now, carries an MSRP of $39.99. You can grab the PDF over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. Having said all that, let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Dungeons Deep. A few things to mention before we get stuck in. First of all, my friends over at Kobold Press were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share this first look with you. It's important you know that. We're also not going to look at each and every page of the book. They do want to give you a good feel for what you're going to find inside. And then lastly, there are 16 dungeons included in this volume. If you're a player and you know your game master or dungeon master has already picked up Dungeons Deep, maybe they're talking about picking this up. Keep in mind, there are going to be spoilers ahead. I am going to take a peek at the synopses for each of the dungeons. And as we flip through, you're probably going to see some things which will ruin some of the surprises contained within. So you have been warned. All right, let's take a look at the back here. Trapped, stocked, ready to rock. In a world of high fantasy adventure, every crumbling ziggurat, abandoned mine, or unassuming hole in the ground is a potential dungeon. Dungeons Deep delivers 16 drop-in dungeons designed to fit neatly into your D&D campaign, or to quickly expand an existing dungeon of your own design. Unleash your crack team of Dungeoneers and enjoy the story. Dungeons Deep is an essential addition to your GM library. Challenge players with 16 prepared dungeons stocked with loot, traps, factions, and plenty of enemies. Each dungeon offers tiered monster loadouts for low, medium, and high-level PCs. So you have 48 options available. Explore ruined temples, slime-filled caverns, a Feywild oasis, and more. Run them as written or pick what works for your campaign and leave the rest. These dungeons are ready. Your heroes might not be. All right, first thing we're going to do is take a look at the credits page. A lot of folks work very hard to bring this to life. Let's give credit where credit is due. So we've got our table of contents. We already know there are 16 dungeons included within. And of course, they are for Dungeons and Dragons. I assume 5.5e as well as 5e, which also means you can use this with Kobold Press's very own Tales of the Valiant. So Black Pit Clan Redoubt is our first dungeon. This name-lost stronghold was once a dwarven redoubt used to defend access across the underground chasm. The dwarves are gone now, and the Black Pit Clan of Goblins, led by Grulgog the Indomitable, has taken up residence. Also tells us what other creatures are in the dungeon. So it is a bridge stronghold occupied by goblinoids. Taking a quick peek. So this is our loadout here. So it's showing for 1 through 4, 5th through 8th, and 9th through 12th levels. So we've got a few pages devoted to each of these as well. In fact, quite a lot more than I was expecting. Look at that. Pretty cool. So that was kind of just looking at every page of that dungeon. I will be skipping pages from here on out. So we have the Dark God's Ziggurat, ancient catacombs with an unwelcome scouting party. Millennia ago, acolytes of the Dark God, not even going to try to pronounce that, built a ziggurat in the subterranean underworld. Many souls were consumed in its construction, both in reckless labor and in sacrificial rites. Many more lives were spilled down its steps during the foul rituals conducted at its peak. Eventually, a band of ancient heroes defeated this cult, sealing the ziggurat away. So it looks like this will be something probably years, maybe even centuries later, the adventurers start checking out. Looks like we might have some drow. Next up, we've got the Clockwork Vault, a treasure vault filled with traps and puzzles. The Clockwork Vault is a self-contained structure built to secure treasures of immeasurable value. It features an assortment of machinery, puzzles, and clockwork guardians engineered to deter intruders. The vault itself can be placed anywhere a team of expert tinkerers can reach, underneath a noble's manor, a high-security area within a bank, or in addition to a paranoid wizard's tower. The artwork is plenty solid, as I expect from Kobold Press. Paper stock, also solid as well. I've mentioned a few times over the past couple of years, it seems Kobold Press is using a little bit thicker paper stock, and I definitely dig that. So is this a new one? Yep. We've got the Clockwork Phylactery, a weird obelisk artifact inhabited by constructs. Like many arcanists, as he aged, the gnomish inventor Glimwick Gearsprocket began considering how he might extend his life beyond the mortal coil. Finding lichdom unseemly and cloning impractical, Glimwick turned to the precision and certainty of clockwork. These look like these could be a lot of fun. They're not just the same old, same old. Blackstone Barrow. The Barrow Shrine of the Darkstone is a crumbling mausoleum of impressive but indeterminate age. This necrotic sanctuary holds the remains of the arcane warlord Morgul Thrain, a despotic conqueror from antiquity, who now resides alongside the remnants of his forgotten legions. He and his would-be immortal retainers now serve rather than conquer. Hardly more than undead watchdogs and dungeon kidnappers, they act as caretakers with guardians of an immense rune-carved relic they once sought to master, the Black Stone. Oh, there we go. There's the monster from the cover. Ooh, scary kid, scary. Once again, looks like quite a few pages devoted to that. Crystal Caverns, natural caves with fungi and plant monsters. The Crystal Caverns are a region of natural chambers of soft calcite and limestone, sculpted by an underground river. The warm water runs from a geothermal source, providing food and nutrients to various fungi, lichen, and other subterranean plant life, which overruns the chambers. In addition, sediments deposited by the mineral-rich water have encouraged the formation of large crystal deposits. Looks as if these dungeons can be finished up probably in a session, maybe 2 at most. The Watcher. I like that. This is another adventure, I think. Yep, another dungeon here. Temple of Gothrak. These ruins are the remains of an ancient temple to a forgotten fiendish lord known as Gothrak the Immolator. Cultists occupied the temple and serve an underpriest named Sezinax, who's obsessed with summoning and commanding fiendish creatures. However, the cultists lack the power they believe they hold over the devils. Oh, wow. Cool devil there. That's probably our big bad right there. Dante's Downfall, a prison dungeon filled with undead. In long ago history, during a period of unrest and rebellion, this prison became a holding pen to make the malcontents and undesirables disappear. Its warden, Fernand Villefort, turned it into a sadistic playground, upholding injustice, cruelty, and greed. When Dante Faria, a revolutionary leader with a reputation for having 9 lives, came into Villefort's clutches, the warden couldn't help himself. He put Dante's unkillable reputation to the test in a series of elaborate tortures after taking Dante's secret, a ring of regeneration. In his enthusiasm, Villefort accidentally killed Dante. Then, instead of demoralizing the other prisoners as he's hoped, it united them into a frenzy of anger. Let's see here. Not even going to try to pronounce that. Well, I guess I could. Sarcondisax's Retreat. These ice caverns belong to Sarcondisax, an adult female white dragon. Despite her modest intellect, she realizes her realm is located in a far bigger dungeon complex, housing many terrifying enemies, and doesn't seek to expand her influence beyond here. When she first arrived, the caves were already fully formed, as if waiting for her to move in. The white dragon didn't question this fortune and settled in nicely. This explains various sections of the cave that are beyond her reach or abilities. Ooh, a big polar bear. It's like it's possessed. Got some glowing eyes there. It's like a good amount of page space devoted to that dungeon as well. And we got Swarmhaven, natural caverns with assorted creepy crawlies. The caverns are a region of natural caverns and tunnels created over many centuries by industrious insects and arachnids. The caverns contain a sprawling ecosystem, despite only taking up a portion of a much larger dungeon complex. It is a place where one quickly becomes either the hunter or the hunted. Okay. Albino cave ants. Oh, there you go. Nice big black widow spider. The Mausoleum of Marikos. The Mausoleum of Marikos is somewhat ancient beyond living reckoning and immaculately preserved. The dun-colored sandstone blocks and painstakingly carved columns and sarcophagi maintain surprisingly sharp corners and reliefs, at odds with the whiff of dust and forgotten decay that pervades the tomb. It is a forgotten crypt filled with undead. Oh, it looks like we have a mummy. Then we got the slime pits. These slime pits are an exceptional display of extreme natural forces at work. A seep from a nearby thermal pocket funnels superheated water to the area. The water quickly cools as it disperses throughout the tunnels, but it also brings with it a high mineral content that has created and continues to create remarkable mineral formations over time as it flows, including stalactites and stalagmites in the scattered stone mounds visible on the map. The water is also extremely poisonous to living creatures not adapted to the environment. It is a breeding ground for dangerous oozes. Thus the title, Slime Pits. Kraken Rising, a submerged dungeon with underwater creatures. Long ago, a group of humanoids settled in these subterranean passages, serving as the custodians of the primordial heart. Then the Shahagin and their Aboleth leader came and wiped the custodians out, all for the love of their watery god. Looks like they worship a kraken. We should have a couple left. Smuggler's Paradise, basements beneath the city with urban foes. The original purpose of this conglomeration of rooms, stairs, and hallways has long been lost. These days, it is used as a nexus for smugglers moving goods throughout the region. A truce exists between the various smuggler factions, some solid, while others uneasy. Looks like we've got some rat folk. Then I think this might be the last one. The Way Station, an underground safe house on the way to elsewhere. The Way Station is a stopover for rest and relaxation created and run by opportunistic fae. The basic purpose remains the same, whatever the level of play. Creatures encountered within may change depending on the group's level range. However, while the workers of the Way Station seek to earn a profit from accommodating travelers in the area, grim events have transpired recently, altering the happenings within. That's pretty cool cartography there. Like I said, I think this is our final dungeon. Oh, no. I think there's this one last one. Quilton's Sanctuary, an eccentric sage's lair filled with bizarre pets. The laboratory of Professor James Quilton is enigmatic and chaotic, clearly the work of a mind that flits from one intense focus to another with barely a breath between. All right. Looks like a fire elemental. Oh, a genie. I think that looks like a genie. I think that's it. I think that is going to wrap it up. Yep, it sure is. So we've got the core books for Tales of the Valiant. We've got Labyrinth Adventures as well as the World Book. I have reviewed all of those if you're interested in checking that out. And then, of course, we got the Game Master's Guide, which I have also reviewed. All right, that is a peek inside Dungeons Deep 16 ready-to-play dungeons from Kobold Press. Of course, I will have a review of this in the not-too-distant future. All right, so that is another entry in our Kobold Press week here at the Gaming Gang. Of course, be sure to tune in Thursday, November 13th. I will be doing a live first look at the brand new Riverbank role-playing game from Kobold Press. Then, of course, this weekend, I will have a review of Monster Vault 2 for Tales of the Valiant. All right, that's it for this time out. If you liked the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell because it's supposed to notify you not only when I share videos such as this first look, it'll also tell you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for our latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are not going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thank you very much for watching. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.